talk about the timeline of man and see what that has to do with Appalachia. So, in the beginning, we were hunters and gatherers. We hunted our animals for food and also for the shelter that they could provide. Also, tools came from animals. We hunted plants and berries and made our medicines and healed ourselves when we were sick. We lived for hundreds of thousands of years as cavemen and women, living in clans and only passing intermittently to maybe do some trading. As we got closer to the end of this cave period, we really began to trade seeds. And missionaries were the main bringers of the seeds. So we learned about other crops. And we gradually organized ourselves into farming communities. Think of Little House on the Prairie. So the family lived in their own homestead, their own farming homestead. But they also went to town to get the goods and services that they did not produce. And they took the things they did produce into town to sell it. So you could see the beginning of an economy that was growing a little bit. The church was very central to the agrarian period of life, the farming period. And you could see that that continues into the industrial age. So for hundreds of thousands of years, we were cavemen and women. For tens of thousands of years, we were farmers. And that was the main base of our economy. And then came the cotton gin. And machinery was introduced into the farming community. And we began a period of industrialization. So think of Laverne and Shirley. Think of the middle income family. The dads worked on the assembly lines, and typically the mothers stayed home and ran the household. This was the industrial period, and that only lasted for about 200 years. So you see how the time periods that we are living in certain phases have shortened dramatically. So we've gone from hundreds of thousands of years to tens of thousands of years to now a period of only 200 years was our economic base for the Industrial Revolution. And guess what comes next? The advent of the computer changed us into the information age between the 1960s and the 1980s. As computers became more prevalent, our way of life began to change. So instead of having the bulk of the people working in factories, you now have folks working with computers. It becomes more of what a person can do with their mind and what they can sell in that manner. So the economic base of our trade had to do with automation. You saw many of the jobs that people had performed on assembly lines changing and moving into things that computers took care of. Even in the mining industry, which is the base of Appalachian mining, particularly here in West Virginia, you saw fewer miners needed to extract the coal from the ground, and more of those jobs being around how to fix the machines and the computers that extracted the coal much more quickly. You even saw the way coal is extracted becoming very different. So instead of the pickaxe and the small car, it became something like mountaintop removal, which you may have heard of. So we've gotten that easy coal, so to speak, and the coal reserves were much deeper in the ground, which required exploding the mountains to quickly get at that coal. So you see the economic base changing. Well, now, here we are in the new age called the information age, or the creative economy. So this is a period characterized by innovation, by taking usual traditional items and making them either more beautiful or more useful. So just think about the toothbrush. You know, it used to be just a straight little thing with a few bristles. You brush your teeth and you're done. But then the handles became bent. They're ergonomically correct so we don't hurt our wrists when we brush our teeth. And the backs have tongue scrapers on them to clean the gums and the teeth and around the teeth and other areas of the mouth. And then the apex of these fancy toothbrushes is the electronic toothbrush with the different heads and the bristles of uneven lengths to get into the cracks and the spaces. There are toothbrushes for sensitive mouths. There are toothbrushes to whiten our teeth. There are toothbrushes to get into the gum area to support gum health. So you see how common everyday instruments have found new uses or become more useful. That's what characterizes the information age. And we don't know how long we're going to be in this phase. We started about 20 years ago, so we could be beginning a transition to a new economic base now. So think about Appalachia now for a minute. Think about this timeline of human development: hunters and gatherers, farmers, industrialists, people who worked in factories, then the information age and computerization, and now this creative economy. What can we make new, better, more beautiful, and different? So where is the Appalachia that you know? Think about the people that you know in Appalachia. Where are they in this timeline? We'll explore more of that in a minute. Thank you.